Hey, everybody. Welcome. It is time for another edition of Asking Agents. And I am super excited. I know you guys are like, every episode you're super excited, but every episode I am super excited. The guest that I am bringing to you guys to give you this info to make sure that buying a home and selling a home is perfect for you is phenomenal. So I'm getting ready to bring Shantí on board. And of course my volume is going to go down as soon as she joins, but I'll try to speak a little louder. So it is adding Holloway now. You'll see her pop up in just a second. Yes.
Why would your volume go down?
It automatically does it every time I watch the replay. Can you hear me? It paused for a second. Okay, it's on my side.
I can hear you, girl.
Okay. You look a little like you're in the dark.
Girl, I am in the dark. I'm sitting here in my car, girl. This is the life of a real estate agent.
Oh my goodness.
Girl,
Yes.
this market is crazy.
Keeping the car light tonight, huh?
Yeah. Not the way that I wanted to be presented. Not the way I wanted to be presented today, but definitely this is showing you what this market is like. It's absolutely crazy.
I understand. I got a call right before, and I kept trying to tell the lady. So listen, I've got a 7 p.m. in just a second. Let me set an actual time to talk with you and get your questions answered. Okay. And so that's what I do.
Exactly.
I set a time with her, but I was out showing right before I came as well. I was actually late to my client, and she was like, "I hope you're not going to be late to your event." I said, "No. If I have to do it in the car, it will get done." So I welcome you on the call tonight. I'm super excited. You've been out here in these streets in Raleigh, out in these streets in Durham, out in these streets in Cary, all up and down the triangle.
Yes, girl. I'm actually in Mebane right now. So,
okay.
I mean, it used to be a time where, you can say, "Oh, I'm a Durham agent. I only focus in Durham. I only focus in Raleigh." And now you can't even do that anymore because technically your clients can want to go and be anywhere because of the way that the market is.
Anywhere. And speaking of the way that the market is, now my people hear me tell them about the Charlotte market all the time. They hear me tell them, it's a seller's market, but it may be different in the Raleigh area. Is it?
Absolutely not. It's actually I don't know if it's worse, but it's really crazy right now. It is definitely a seller's market. And then so this is how I think about it, Nicole. It's actually a seller's market and a buyer's market, and I'm going to tell you why. It's a seller's market because, of course, it's low inventory, right? But it's also a buyer's market because interest rates have never been this low before. So you do have an advantage as a buyer to buy right now because interest rates are so low.
Absolutely. And even though they are inching up ever so slightly, even from last week, they've climbed just a little bit. It is still lower now than it was this time last year.
Absolutely. 3% is still extremely low. I mean, I tell people when I bought my first townhouse back in 2002, my interest rate was like 7 or 8%. And so, I mean, if I could buy that same house right now, it would have cost me so much less. So, if you have the opportunity to buy now, I say buy now.
Absolutely. And so you mentioned a key thing about with it being a seller's market and inventory being low. So what are some of the things that you tell your sellers to get ready to put their homes on the market for all these buyers that are literally waiting in line for their house?
So usually what I tell my sellers are, your house is going to sell if you present it in its right light at its highest market value. So our house is going to sell in this market because we have low inventory, right? But you want to get the most bang for your buck. You want to get as much money as you possibly can out of your home. And the best way to do that is to present your home in this best light possible. So usually what I tell them to do is to really, take time to do the things in your home that need to be fixed, mainly because you again, you want to show your home in its best light as far as painting, making sure any kind of plumbing repairs and things like that are done. Making sure, if the wood floors need to be refinished, let's do that. Let's make sure it has beautiful curb appeal, because of course the curb appeal is the first thing that the client sees. So, you want to make sure that that looks good, especially for the pictures, because in this market, people are buying houses sight unseen. So if your pictures look good, sight unseen. So if your pictures look good, some people are putting in offers and they have not even set foot in your house.
Yeah.
So I tell my sellers, when you start looking for a real estate agent, make sure that that agent is going to spend money on your pictures and your video, because you have some agents that don't do that.
That's what I was just about to chime in on. It's so many times I see these cell phone pictures, and I'm not saying that, I understand it. Sometimes cell phones be taking some incredible pictures, but I'm telling you, if you don't get that good editing, even to those pictures done, the good filtering done, and making sure that those pictures still are presented in the best possible light, it's not going to look good for your seller.
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. And so, when you're out here trying to choose somebody to represent you and to partner with you to list your house, you make sure you ask them all those important questions, like, what are you going to do to get my house sold for the most money? Because there is no question on whether your house is going to sell, right? But will it sell at its highest and best market value? That is the question. Because you have people walking away with, so much money because they did the right thing. They listened to their agent. They made the curb appeal look nice. They made the inside clean, decluttered. Got those things repaired, and they go into contract within a weekend.
Exactly. They're flying off the market. And that price point, I'm finding myself here in the 4s and 5s. I'm in multiple offer situations, even in that price point. Are you finding it in that price point as well?
Absolutely. Absolutely. My client and I was representing buyers, and we went out this past weekend. And when I contacted the seller's agent, because I was getting ready to submit an offer, she was like, oh, I already have 13 offers in the pocket. And I'm like, what? And she's like, over asking, high due diligence. So I say that to say this: if you're a buyer in this market right now, get your money up. You have to have money. You cannot play out here. And you have a lot of people that have 100% financing, and that's great. But if you don't have cash for due diligence, and you don't have cash to put up if the home does not appraise, you're going to be in a real tight situation. So, it's a good time to buy, but you need to be prepared for the market.
Exactly, because a lot of people assume that just because the home didn't appraise, the seller is obligated to lower the price down, and they are not.
Absolutely not. And I tell my clients this as well, Nicole. If we go walk into a house, I ask them, the first question I ask them is, would you be happy with this house the way it is right now? Because the seller has no obligation to do anything, nothing. So, not to say that they won't do anything, because there are some nice sellers that have integrity and they're going to do what's necessary. But you have some sellers that are like, yeah, you're going to take this house as is. And that's what the contract says. You are purchasing this home as is.
Exactly. Everything's up for negotiation, but they don't have to negotiate if they don't want to. Because I'm telling you,
they don't have to negotiate anything.
Exactly. While you're saying, well, I at least want them to, there's someone else that's saying, they ain't got to, I'll take it.
That part. You got people buying houses over asking, high due diligence, and with no concessions. Hello?
No concessions.
No concessions. And if you don't know what concessions mean, they not asking for nothing besides the house.
Anything. They're not asking for anything whatsoever. They're saying, hey, listen, take my house. You want it? You don't? Goodbye. Somebody else will take it. And someone else will gladly. People are, I had a buyer, she's gone over her offer price by $20,000 on our last 2 offers. And each time, me as an agent, I always ask for feedback, and sometimes they don't, the listing agent won't give you feedback. But if they do, I take it back to my buyer, because I'm like, well, what could we have done differently? And all she said was, high due diligence. And I'm saying that if high due diligence, I think people need to understand what high due diligence is. Okay,
House due
because
diligence is
back
now
in the day,
1,000.
look, back
It's
in the
now
day, high due
1,000.
diligence was like $2,000. That was high
It
due
used,
diligence.
it
Okay,
used to be. It
it
used
used
to
to
be.
be.
But
It's not
now,
anymore.
we're,
We're
I
seeing
mean,
people do 6, 7, 8, 9, 10,000 in due diligence. And understand, people, the due diligence fee is the amount of money that you're saying, hey, Mr. or Mrs. Seller, for taking your home off the market, allowing me time to investigate, secure my loan, essentially do my due diligence. I'll pay you a due diligence fee of X amount. And although that X is negotiable, you have to put your best foot forward right away with that initial offer and not thinking that they're going to come back to you and counter.
yeah, exactly. And so the other caveat to that is, Nicole, um, some listing agents have to be careful when they put out, we want your highest and best, because honestly, a lot of offers are not the highest offer because there's other things that sellers take into consideration.
Right. Well,
I.e.,
people need to understand best means your best terms.
your best
So
term. Right.
exactly, your best terms. It's highest offer in your best terms. You know,
Yeah.
if the seller needs a quick close and you can't close for 30 days, it really don't matter what your offer is. You can't close for 30 days. They need a quick close.
Yeah. And the other concession, that if you're selling a house and then buying again, if you're out here
That's
in the
the
buyer's
thing.
market, don't come here talking about, oh, I got to sell my house first before I buy. You better figure something out, because
Figure it out. If you got
that
to move
concession,
twice, put something in storage and stay in a hotel for a couple of weeks.
go stay with your mom and them for a little while. Because if they
Uncle
see an
Ricky.
offer, if they see an offer with that contingency, you are automatically off the table. Seriously.
Automatically, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
you're right.
it's a different market out here. You better be ready to go.
And I don't understand why some people aren't grasping that. I mean, we say it over and over and over, but you still will have people that'll be like, what God has for me is for me.
I agree with that to a certain extent, but you got to be prepared too. You can't
Thank
roll
you.
up in.
Faith without works is dead.
You can't roll up in there with 2,000, thinking that somebody gonna take your offer when they got somebody offering 10,000. So yeah, don't waste your agent's time if you're not ready to play. And I'm just being honest. Don't waste my time and don't waste another agent's time, because we got to play hardball. And I mean, I think where people fall short is they listen to their cousin, mama, niece, brother, and them who bought a house last year, and they're like, oh well, he only paid 2,000. Do you know how much the market has changed just within a year?
Mm-hmm.
You can't compare your situation to your mom and them situation, because it's different.
At
The
all.
market is different. So,
Very
you
different.
know, we just have to make sure that we're educating our clients, to make sure that they're prepared for what they're about to get into, because you may put in 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 offers and not get none of them.
And this is why I started doing Ask an Agent, so that people could get their questions answered about the home buying, the home selling process, even those that want to become an agent. I get a lot of phone calls. Somebody emailed me last night through my website, like, hey, I want to talk to you about being an agent.
You
And I
don't
have
want
no
this life.
problem.
You
But,
don't
but
want this life. You don't want it.
it's not glamorous at all. I look good.
It's
I
not
look good on
glamorous.
TV is what I tell them. But in real life,
Yeah, this life is not glamorous. It's not. It's not. People think it's easy money, but I'm telling you, you see it's what, 7 o'clock, and I'm out here showing properties like in the dark. Like, it's
it's 7 o'clock and we're doing this live, and I've got a 9 o'clock appointment after that with a new buyer for a buyer presentation.
yeah,
We got to keep going. We got to keep hustling. We got to keep moving. It
yeah,
doesn't
and
stop just because we have other things to do.
it's no
But
social life. Your girlfriends call you on a Saturday saying, "Hey, girl, we
look,
want to get
no
together. We
social
want to
media
do
for
this."
me.
Look, I'm like, yeah, I would love to hang out with you guys, but my clients want to go look at properties. I can't
Mhm.
tell them no, because they can clearly say, "Oh, no problem, Shantí. I'll go over here and work with this agent." No.
And people will do that. People are not loyal these days. They don't know what it means to be loyal. So
Right.
they
It,
interview a bunch of
it
agents. They
definitely,
decide to go with you, and the second you are not perfect,
Mm-hmm.
They like, well, let me go talk to so-and-so.
Right, right. But then I also have to sympathize that this market is so quick. So if there's a house they really want that comes on the market on Saturday, it's not like 3 or 4 years ago where you were like, oh, well, we can see it
Oh,
on Monday. It'll
Monday?
still be there.
No.
No,
Mm-mm.
I need to see that property today, right now, this hour, like when we going.
Right. I'm making arrangements for my clients. If I can't get to them, for somebody to show them on my behalf, there's a couple of companies out here that will allow you to pay them to show clients for you. Whatever I need to do to make sure that my client has an opportunity to see that house that they want to see, I'm going to do it. If I got to pay
Yeah.
another agent $50 to do it, I'm going to make sure I do it.
Yeah, I mean,
Whatever.
I hope I don't think they fully understand what goes into it. I think they feel like we do each other favors. And yeah, I do have agents that do favors for me and go show properties. But at the end of the day, they're gonna be like, so how much you paying?
At the end of the day, yes.
So don't take our time lightly. That's why I say don't waste an agent's time, because our
Yeah.
time is money. And we want to help you, we want to advocate for you, but at the same extent, you got to be prepared. We're not out here just looking at houses to be looking at houses.
Right. So,
So
everybody out there in Facebook land watching this live, any questions that you have, definitely put them in the chat, and we will address those questions because we want to make sure that we get them answered. We talked a little bit about being in a multiple offer situation and making sure that you had a high due diligence. What are some other tips that you advise to your buyers when they're in multiple offer situation?
one, you want to make sure your financing is rock solid. We're not going to look at houses with a pre-qualification letter. Okay? No pre-quals. We ain't going out pre-quals. Pre-quals ain't, no, we're not going to do that. So the difference between pre-qualification and pre-approval, if you didn't know, a pre-approval means that you have gone through the full underwriting process. They have vetted you and said you are good to go. Your financing is solid. So we're not going out without a pre-approval. Next thing is we're going to make sure that you have funds in the bank to make sure that this process goes well. Then also, if I'm working with the lender, when I submit that offer, I'm also submitting the information for the lender to say, hey, if you want to verify this, you can call the lender. My lender is open for you to receive a phone call to verify that my client is good to go at this price point. If you want to show proof of funds to show that, hey, I got the money to cover this due diligence, we're going to show proof of funds. Let me see what else. We're going to make sure that due diligence is strong. We're going to make sure that earnest money is strong. We're going to make sure that we find out what kind of closing time do they need. Do they need to close sooner? Do they need to close later? Whatever works for them, we're on board for it. You're going to have to really bend, unfortunately, to whatever this seller needs to get this deal done. I'm trying to think what are some other things in a multiple offer situation. Making sure you have an agent that is actually talking to the listing agent. So not just saying,
yes, that's the one thing that I do every single time I try to call and talk to the agent. Multiple offers or not, I'm talking to the agent and trying to see, well, what is it that the seller really needs? Now, understand that they ain't supposed to tell you, but sometimes, well, if they are looking for a quick close, okay.
Yeah.
Well, they really aren't interested in paying closing costs.
Yep.
They may feed you a little bit. They may not lay the whole plan out there for you. They may drop you a tidbit.
Yeah. Yeah.
And if they don't, it's still worth it to call. Because then
making sure you have an agent that is not afraid to make that phone call to that listing agent to try to build rapport and see how can we get this deal done. Now that's if the listing agent even answers that's only if the listing agent answers the phone. A lot of them ain't answering the phone no more because they like, here go another agent
calling me again. But you got to have someone who's at least willing to try.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah,
absolutely.
I have clients that are looking for land and agents not answering, not responding to emails. I'm like, come on.
Yeah. Yeah.
But and I get it. On the other side, we're kind of bombarded. I have a listing myself that every day I'm getting 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 calls on.
Yep.
Every day. But I take them and I talk to the people, and
it's part of the job. That's why my friends, they always ask me, Shantí, why you always got your phone in your hand? You always on your phone. I say, if you only knew
It's
What comes
business. It
through this
ain't pleasure.
phone on a daily basis, from text messages to emails, all kind of communication. And you got to be
Mhm.
on at all times.
At all times. You cannot. You can't be off. Like, even when I'm on vacation, I have been out of the country twice and gone under contract twice while out of the country. Okay? Laptop still with me. Internet still working. I'm still making arrangements to get my clients taken care of.
Yeah, I was on a cruise and literally paid extra for
Extra.
the internet and all of that stuff so I can always be on. I mean, so those of you who want to do real estate, just know there's no time
There's no
off.
off.
No,
No off at
no.
all. No off.
What
Especially if your agent is full time. Now, if your agent is part time, now you have to contend with their other job. You do.
look,
So time is still not free.
yeah.
Y'all want to get your license and come over here and be real estate brokers? I'm telling you, you need to have money too. Let's talk about that for a little bit, Shantí.
Hey,
Shantay, sorry.
Brandy.
Let's talk about that for a little bit, because there are a lot of people out here that say, hey, I want to be a real estate agent. What is it that I need to do? And of course, besides, you know, taking the class and passing the
Right,
state exam,
right.
you need some money, people. You
Yeah,
as an agent need some money.
yeah. You can't don't listen to people who say it's easy to get into this business without paying money. I mean, we have to pay money to be associations. You got to pay money to get new signs. You got to be in to market yourself. I mean, I remember my first year, thousands of dollars spent to just get yourself, prepared for the market. And don't think that you're gonna go join an agency and they're gonna pay all this stuff for you. Uh-uh. No, most brokers do not pay anything for you to, get yourself prepared to, be an agent. So a lot of this stuff is coming out of your own pocket.
And understand, when we talk about paying stuff, a lot of agencies, you don't get, not a lot of agencies, you don't get 100% of the full commission when you're first starting out.
Oh no, not at all. You have to split it. And so that's the other thing I want. And this is the other thing that I want some of our clients to know. I've heard of clients saying, well, can you reduce your commission? No, I'm not. And you want to know why? Because this ain't all my money. This is not all my money.
It's that part. It's not all coming to you.
Yes, we split that three ways. I get a piece, they get a piece, and then the other broker gets a piece. So
That's right.
yeah, I mean, and we spend a lot of money on gas, marketing, pictures, all that stuff.
Oh,
So
that's true.
it's
And
a lot
then
of,
some.
and then some. There's a lot of things that people don't understand that go on in the background. But you want to know what the problem is, Nicole?
What's the problem?
We make it look easy.
Ah,
We
we
make
make
it look
it look
we
easy.
make it look easy and glamorous. They don't know the dirty work that goes on behind closed. They don't know what all we have to get involved in. Sleepless nights, staying up late. I mean, all weekend long. Like, but we make it look easy. You make it look easy, Nicole. Every time I see you, girl, your face beat, your hair looking good. You out there doing the thing on thing. I'm out here with a headband on, my camo jacket, but this how you gonna get me. But just know I'm out here working hard for you. I ain't all pretty, but I'm
Look,
real.
let me tell you something. I have been that person who gets up extra early to make sure that I'm on point. My mother said never leave the house looking like who did it and why, okay? All right. Now, my face is not beat like this when I leave the house because we all wear a mask and it would all just be inside the mask anyway. But I at
Right.
least have my mascara done and I might throw a little eyeshadow up here so my eyes sparkle a little bit, okay? But,
Gotcha.
honey, I'm telling you, I'm like working with my trainer half the time and my hair is in a ponytail the other half of the time. It's not always this glamorous. That's just for the gram and for Facebook.
Look, I ain't even have time to go get glammed up, but if y'all go to my Facebook page, y'all see I can spruce up every now and again. It's just not today, because
Every now
today
and
has been
again,
a
yeah.
day. But y'all gonna get this
Every now and again.
information though.
Exactly, and that's what we're here for. We ain't here to look cute. We here to give you this info, okay?
Exactly.
Period.
Exactly.
I got a
Exactly.
top producing agent on the line here with me. For those that are just chiming in, Shantí Holloway. Shantí Holloway, I'm saying it wrong. I'm sorry.
But you know why? Because every time you look at my name, you automatically say Shantí. So it's cool. It's cool. But it's Shantí
With that
Holloway.
accent, it's Shantí though. I'm sorry.
It's all good. It's all
Look,
good. And
people tear
we
my
got
name up just because it's spelled funny.
right.
Someone called me the other day and said, "May I speak to Nicole?" I said, "This is Nicole." She was like, "I was wondering."
Nicole is a pretty name too, but yeah, that's not my name.
That part. And then they'll go, "Hey, Miss Watts." There's no S on the end of my name. It is Wyatt.
Mm. Yeah, they screw that one up. They screw that one up. Tell me a little bit more about the market in Charlotte though, Nicole. Like, what's going on there?
Look, let me tell you, the Charlotte market is crazy. I just closed I posted on social media. I just closed a girl yesterday who we had put in 9 offers. And quite frankly, every time that we put an offer in, I actually had her write a letter to the sellers, handwritten, actually saying the seller's name so that the seller wouldn't think that this is just the same letter that she's sending to every seller. I had her hand write a letter every single time. I
Smart.
proofread it every single time. If there was an error, correct that, go back, write it again. She was like, "Dang, Nicole," I said, "We got to put our best foot forward, okay?" And it took us 9 tries, but on that 9th offer, they accepted her offer, and her offer was not the highest offer. They said it was her letter. Now, with that said, it don't always work, okay?
It
I
don't
sold a
always
house
work.
last week where I told my buyer, "All right, I want you to go home and write a letter." When I got home and pulled up the MLS, in the agent remarks it says, "Don't bother sending letters." The
More,
seller will not
more and
see
more,
them.
more and more listing agents are beginning to do that, unfortunately. And that's at the disadvantage of those buyers who don't have a bunch of money to put up.
Right.
I think a lot of listing agents are concerned for fair housing. And they're thinking that some of these letters go against fair housing. And so that's the issue with these love letters. So you have to be careful if you are sending a love letter, as agents, if there are any agents out there listening, making sure that that letter does not, violate any of the Fair Housing Act, meaning they can't put any personal things in there about their familial, background and all that other kind of stuff. Just keep it about the house, how much you love the house. That's it. So you just have to be careful. You have to be careful because this market is crazy.
This market is crazy.
I ain't never seen nothing. I only been doing this for 6 years, and I ain't seen nothing like it.
I've been in this industry almost 9 years. I've been in this industry. When I got in this industry, we were in the middle of the foreclosure crash. So we were doing tons of foreclosures and short sales. And now I'm so glad that I bought this up, that we were doing foreclosures and short sales then, because now everybody keeps coming to me and be like, "Well, I just want a foreclosure or a short sale." Where?
Where that at?
You
Where
can't
that
get
at?
a regular sale. You want a foreclosure?
Where that at?
Where
And
is
then,
it?
and so that's the other thing. If there's anybody watching us right now whose home is behind on payments or whatever, you need to call your bank right now and ask them, can you short sale on your house? There's no reason why anybody should be behind on anything. Sell your house. You got equity in it. I promise you do.
I promise you, you do.
I promise you do. So yeah, I had a young lady ask me that the other day. She was like, "Well, where are the foreclosures located?" I'm like, "Well, look, when you find out, you let me know." Because I don't know. I don't know.
Even the HUD website, I looked a couple weeks ago. There was only one house listed in the entire state of North Carolina on the HUD website.
Hello.
HUD
It's
used to have
different.
thousands of houses throughout the state.
It's
They
different.
had
It's
one.
different. And so the other thing, and I want to hear your perspective on this. So a lot of people saying, "Oh, the same thing is going to happen like it did back in 2008. We're going to have a bubble." And I'm like, no. I said the difference between 2008 and right now is the mortgages that were done back in 2008 were done to people who couldn't afford those houses. The people buying houses right now, They can afford them. They got houses. I mean, they got money. They got cash. They got good credit. They're buying these houses legitimately. Now, the only thing I can honestly see happening is the prices of homes kind of leveling out, because the trajectory
they
that
will
they're
level
going
out.
at,
Yeah,
the trajectory that they're going at this point is not realistic to sustain for an extended period of time. So I do think that the rise in interest rates is going to help with bringing those homes to a level, a modest level.
Exactly.
The other thing we haven't talked about, Nicole, is new construction. So a lot of buyers are like, oh, I'm not going to do the resale route. I'm going to do new construction.
I'm just going to do new construction. Wait
But
list.
there's some things, wait list. But did you see the article yesterday that was just released about the price of lumber going up? And
It's been going up steadily since COVID started.
Yes.
Steadily.
So the price,
we actually here thought that it was going to kind of bottom out around October, but it's still rising. And we ain't not doing much next week.
Yeah. So if you're thinking new construction, you're going to have to even bring more money to the tables, because the new construction pricing of homes have gone up tremendously, and new construction home builders have gotten hip that they are needed and wanted. And so what they're doing is increasing the amount of deposits that you got to put down. At one point, some builders were doing, a $25 deposit, $99 deposit. Now they want 3% of whatever the full price of the house is.
Someone just commented, and a delay in lumber, and not just a delay in lumber, a delay in windows. I went under contract this week where the person had to sign an addendum saying that they understand that because of COVID-19 there is a delay in windows, and because there's a delay in windows, you can't hold the contractor at fault for your house not being built on time because of delay in windows.
Not only a delay in windows and a delay in lumber, I'm gonna go ahead and add another one on there.
Come on.
A delay in people being able to build the house. They don't have enough workers to go around.
Yeah.
So, and if you read your contracts, people, okay? These new construction contracts, read them. Because at the end of the day, a lot of these builders have years to complete your home. They may say, your home will be done in August 2021, but they technically have a year to complete it, and you can't do nothing about it because it's in the contract that you signed. So make sure you read your contracts thoroughly. Yeah. Because you can stomp your feet and be bad. You said it was going to be done in August. But they technically have a lot of these builders build in a huge window because there are delays caused by weather, lumber, supplies. All those things are taken into consideration with these builders. So you got to read those contracts. Got
to. Yes. The other thing with new construction is that I want to harp on is the wait list. And I want to really express how the wait list is gotten worse. I last month in January, I showed someone at the end of January a townhome community. They were number 8 on the wait list. 2 weeks later, pushed us into February, I showed someone else who ended up being number 40 on the wait list. They ain't got but 10 houses left. But you get on the wait list anyway to ensure that, hey, if I haven't found something by the time my name comes up, at least I know I got something.
Yeah.
But guess what, y'all? You got to be qualified. Got to be qualified and pre-approved just to get on the wait list.
Yeah.
And you want to get that done sooner rather than later.
Yeah.
A lot of people are waiting on, they want to do new construction because it is taking a long time to build their houses, and they thinking, that gives me time to save up the money, but you still got to qualify. You got to qualify to write the contract. You got to qualify to get on the wait list.
That part. And then also, you want to stay qualified. Don't be qualified. You start out and then you go mess it up, and then you come back and they run your stuff again and be like, yeah, you're not qualified no more.
Exactly. You're not qualified no more. And it happens. And let me tell you, when the builder finds out you ain't qualified no more and they start to make their calls, they start calling around, first of all, to all their agents saying, hey, listen, we've got a house that's getting ready to come back on the market. If you want to get your people in, let me know. Right? They start trying to set it up so that it doesn't sit there.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, and I mean, like I said, new construction it's definitely, I think, a lot easier than resale, but you gotta be ready, and you gotta be willing to ride out, because a lot of these new construction places are out there. It's like, oh, Shantí, I found something in Johnston County. I'm like, Johnston County, oh
God,
Jesus, okay,
all the way
I'm
down
like, way out there. Okay, let's go. I'm like,
there. Right. Let's go.
let's go,
Let's
let's
go.
go.
That's why I got my MLS running from Greensboro all the way down to Atlanta. I don't want there to be a reason why somebody says they can't find a house working with me. Huh. I go wherever you want to go.
Right, right. Right. And not only that,
Yeah.
you have connections all over. If you can't get there, you know somebody that can get there.
I know,
So,
I got connections, girl.
right.
I'll put somebody on in a minute. All right, let me tell you something. Okay, thank you. I appreciate that. No, I don't work that area, but I do know somebody who does. Miss
Yeah,
Shantí Holloway. Shantí,
exactly.
can you help my people here?
I got you. I
Yep.
got you. And
And the
vice
thing
versa. When
is,
I got people in Charlotte, be like, I can't go there, but I know somebody that can, and she's gonna take care
Dan,
of you
right.
just like how I would.
And
So
here's the thing: we're not gonna refer you to someone that's not gonna take care of you, because then that reflects back badly on us. So
absolutely.
understand, the people that we're referring you to are going to be good people as well, and we've got connections in all 50 states, including and our sister state, Puerto Rico, and our sister country, Canada. We got
Yeah.
connections all over.
All over the globe. All area codes, as that song say. All over.
Everywhere, everywhere.
Yeah.
Any
So
other
yeah,
questions y'all got? Y'all kind of quiet tonight. We giving y'all
look.
the tidbits. Ain't asked a question yet.
Girl, it's Thursday night, child. People sick of the internet. I ain't mad. I'm sick of
They
the
just
internet
trying to get
too.
to Friday.
I ain't trying to get to Friday, because that means it's the weekend, and that's when
It
people want to
ramps up, right?
see all the houses and be all over the place. It's all
Right. I
good
already
though.
got 3 people for Saturday and 1 for Sunday.
Yep, I got
Yeah.
2 for Saturday and 1 for Sunday. Yep.
And the
So
thing is you still got to get through tomorrow, because tomorrow somebody's going to say, oh, well, what about Saturday and Sunday? I
you know what? Nicole, I just need to clone myself. When you find somebody that can clone you, you let me know. They're gonna make some money off of me.
That part. Yes. The struggle is real. It really is, y'all. But we love what we do. We're joking and clowning around, but we love what we do. We love helping people. We wouldn't be in this industry if we didn't have a spirit to serve, because this is definitely an industry where you have to have a spirit to serve, okay? Not just
Absolutely.
a spirit to want to make some money, but a
Yeah.
spirit to serve, because sometimes I'm telling you, you're going to have to take some sacrifices and some hard hits to get your client to the closing table.
Absolutely. Absolutely. It's definitely about serving, and you'll tell the difference between an agent that is wanting to serve and one that wants to make money. You definitely be able to tell the difference. And Nicole is here to serve. I'm here to serve, and the people I connect myself with in my village are here to serve, because we move different.
Right.
We move different. Somebody just put a question in there. Nina said, given the current market and the bidding war, how long is it taking your clients to find a new home? I'm gonna let you answer that, Nicole.
So it's probably, well, unless they do new construction, okay? Because new construction, again, may be easiest, but you've got those waiting lists. So if I get them on a wait list, I still encourage them. And this probably, I'm not your average agent, okay? So most agents like, girl, you on a wait list, go sit down and wait till your name come up. But I'm like, let's keep looking in case you find something in the meantime.
Right.
That way you don't have to wait 8-9 months for your house to be ready. Okay?
Right.
Because here's the thing. While you're sitting on that wait list, prices are still rising.
Yes.
You
Yeah.
you don't get on the wait list locked in at what they're selling the house for the day you get on the wait list. You
Right.
just on the wait list. And
Yeah.
I've had it happen to clients. They were on the wait list, the house was 305. They came off the wait list, the house was 3089. Okay, and that's before they chose their structural options. That's before they chose their went to the showroom and picked out their showroom options. So prices still rise even while you're sitting on a wait list. So you want to continue to still look. And if there's an agent that's not willing to still look, terminate that contract and get you an agent that will.
Yeah. Yeah. And I mean, to further answer your question, Nina, it's taking some clients that, like, if you're at the price point, I would say anything less than 350, you're going to look at quite a few houses before you find something that, one, you're willing to deal with as is, but two, where your offer is going to get accepted. I have clients who I've shown 15, 20 houses. We put in five or more offers, and nothing has stuck. And so my advice to anybody out here in the buyer's market right now, less than $500,000, honestly.
Yes.
You need to be patient. You need to be patient, and you need to stick with it. You need to get your dollars up. Make sure you got money to play. You got to pay to play. You can't be out here, nickel and diming people. I've had a couple clients that were like, I'm just gonna, give this $2,000 in due diligence. And like Nicole said, if it's for me, it's for me. Okay. You want to play those games? It's not happening out here.
Yeah, ultimately we work for you and we will do what you advise us to do, but we're going to make it clear that this is our opinion. We're not in agreement with what you want to do, okay? But we're going to do it because we work for you and we have to do it. But understand, we're going to educate you along the way, okay?
Yeah.
You're not just going and making an offer blindly. We're saying, hey, listen, we understand this is what the comps are showing you. This is what, not just the comps are showing you. This is what everything is showing. And we want to make sure that you understand that, hey, even still, you can't just willy-nilly decide that this isn't something worth fighting for if you want a house. You got to not just fight for it because you want a house. You got to also ensure that you're putting your best foot forward, okay? So I remember years ago when this whole multiple offer situation started, I had a client who just simply wanted to do, what did she want to do? $100 earnest money and $100 due diligence. And I said to her, well, typically we do about 1% of the purchase price. And she was like, I understand, but this is what I want. Okie dokie, no problem. I'll write up your offer. And I did. I happily wrote up the offer. Of course, it didn't get accepted. But when it didn't, I told you guys, I always ask for feedback. Whether I know that I'm right or not, I still ask for feedback because sometimes people need to hear it from somebody else, okay? So the agent sent back, my seller didn't think your buyer was serious. They only offered $100 in earnest money and $100 in due diligence. And so since they only offered $100 in earnest money and $100 in due diligence, we had to let it go. And so that feedback that I got on that offer, went a long way. The next time it wasn't the $100 in earnest money and $100 in due diligence. My buyer was actually listening to me and we were putting in serious amount of money. Okay.
That's
eventually we got a house.
How it happened. That's usually how it happens, Nicole. They have to lose out on a couple houses.
Mm-hmm.
Usually, I hope they learn a lesson after the first one. But usually after the second one that they lose out on, they realize, oh, Nicole and Shantí were right. Yeah, we right. We know what's going on out here.
So the difference, we got a question. What's the difference between earnest money and due diligence? And I talked about this a little bit earlier, but the due diligence fee is the amount of money that you're saying, hey, Mr. or Mrs. Seller, for taking your home off the market, allowing me in time to investigate, secure my loan, do my due diligence, I'll give you this amount of money. If I close on your house, you will credit me back that amount at closing. But if I don't close on your house for whatever reason, you get to keep that money, okay? Now, earnest money, on the other hand, is more like your good faith money. It's like, hey, listen, I know I offered you due diligence, but I want to show you I really want this house. I'm going to offer you even more money, my good faith money, okay? My earnest money, okay? The difference between due diligence and earnest money is if you walk away during the due diligence period, you get your earnest money back. But that due diligence fee, you don't get it back, which is why it is typically a higher amount than the earnest money, because the seller is getting to keep that if you walk away.
Right.
They want to see
Right.
that you've got a lot of stake in the game, and that due diligence fee shows them you have stake in the game. Due diligence ain't only been around a little over 10 years. It ain't been around forever, okay? Hasn't been around. And so back in the day, your earnest money, it was like you would lose that. But now you don't necessarily lose it if you terminate in time. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And if you've
Mm-hmm.
got a good agent, your agent is watching those deadlines so that if it gets to the time where your due diligence period is ending and we still don't know what we're going to do, we're getting an extension, and we're offering justifiable reasons as to why we need that extension so that the seller understands that. But the seller doesn't have to agree to even extend so that you don't lose out on your money.
Yep. Yep. And so that's funny because a lot of people, like I said, no contingencies, high due diligence, and a lot of them, they're waiving their due diligence period. They just going straight to closing. They're like, look, we ready to go.
Because they're that confident in the house.
Yeah.
They are that confident in the house and what it is that they want to purchase. And so they're saying, hey, listen, I know it's all these people. I know it's 24 offers. It's 36 offers. It's 48 offers. I had somebody has 65 showings and 35 offers.
Yeah,
that
absolutely.
house was gorgeous, though. I mean, it was gorgeous.
Yeah.
Everything you could have wanted was in that house. And that goes back to what Shantí said earlier in the live when she said, hey, listen, not just know what you want, but sellers putting your absolute best foot forward so you get the most that you can for your house.
Yeah, I think you have a question from Aaron.
Yeah, my little brother here. Hey, sis, so is it better to get a veteran agent or a newer agent to sell? Which would have more drive to move a house? Or would I be better trying to sell it myself? I would not advise anybody to try to sell their house themselves.
Yeah, let's not do that.
Let's not do that. Okay? But interview the agents. Don't just choose an agent because you guys are friends and y'all go way back. Interview them. Even your friend. My friends make me work for it. Okay? They don't just give me, because I'm going to use Nicole because you Nicole. No. And if they try to come at me like that, I say, hang on. I'm not skipping steps with you just because we're friends. I'm going to sit down and do a formal presentation with you. I'm going to sit down and make sure that you understand what it is that's going on. We're not skipping steps just because we're friends. And and that's what you want in an agent, somebody who's not going to skip steps, somebody who's going to show you and put you and your property first and tell you the truth. Tell you the truth. Some people don't want to hurt your feelings, and so they won't tell you the truth.
Yeah.
I'll let you know now. I ain't about lying, ain't never been about lying, ain't about to start being about lying.
Yeah, I mean, it's about transparency. You got to make sure that you and your agent have a really good, transparent relationship because there has to be honesty across the table between you and your agent. You need to be honest with them, and they need to be honest with you. That's the first thing I tell my buyers. Like, there's a cliche out there that says buyers are liars. I don't need no buyer lying to me about your situation because what will happen is when you go to underwriting, if you lied on your application, they're going to find out about it. And if we're under contract and you have a bunch of due diligence up on that property and underwriting comes back and says, yeah, that information was not accurate.
Right.
And then you got to walk away from that house. And then I think
lose that due diligence.
Yeah, you lose it. And then they want to get mad at you, Nicole. It was your fault.
My fault. It's always the agent's fault.
It's always the agent's fault.
That's why I always put everything in writing.
Right, exactly. Be like, I didn't fill out your application, boo. That was you.
That part. That part.
But I'll take ownership if you want me to. I'll hold it. I'll hold it.
That's fine. Exactly. And that's what we do. Okay. I understand. We think that it's my fault, and that's okay. You know what?
Yeah,
now let's move to the next step. How can we fix this? What can we do to make this better?
It's all about solution thinking. I'm always thinking about, okay, this is messed up, but how can we come to a situation where everything is good? But to add on to what Aaron was asking about, interview agents, more veteran agents sometimes don't know the new stuff that's going on in the industry. So sometimes, going with the veteran agent isn't always good. You want to interview that agent, make sure that one, you have a good rapport with them and you will enjoy working with them, but two, making sure that they're listening to you. The whole time they need to be listening to you because they're there to represent you. Not them doing a bunch of talking. They need to hear you and what it is that you're trying to find and what kind of house you want and all of those things, because that's going to be important when you all go out there looking for houses.
Absolutely. Absolutely. We got another question. If you haven't already discussed this, what are some things you should ask an agent during an interview?
Good question. Good question. Nicole, I'm going to let you go first and then I'll add on.
You need to find out, number one, I believe you should find out ask an agent, how do you work? Okay, you want to know how an agent works, because if the way they work doesn't flow with the way you work, it's already not going to be a good mix. It's like mixing oil and water. It's just not going to work. So you always want to make sure you ask, how do they work? Okay, and listen to them. Because if they tell you, my day stops at 6 p.m. every day, and you're texting them at 8 p.m., asking them why they didn't respond to you to the next day, you forgot that they let you know they stop every day at 6 p.m. And if a person that stops at 6 p.m. doesn't work well with you, again, that's not the person for you. So you got to listen when they answer that question.
Yeah. That part, and also I think that when you're interviewing an agent, you want to know, what do they hold important? How do they feel they stand out from other agents? What is something that they pride themselves on? You may also want to find out, how long have they been in the business? What are the expectations? What should you expect from that relationship? Because for me, I always set the expectation with my clients, because I'm here to serve you. I mean, I would like to have normal office hours, but at the end of the day, in this market, we're going to get at it when we got to get at it. Right. I mean, that's just what it is. And so, it may be a disservice to my family and friends. They know I love them, but I keep my phone on me at all times. You're going to hit me up and I'm going to be right there. If I can't answer the phone right now, I'm going to send you a quick text, say, hey, I'm in a meeting, but I will call you back. I return phone calls. I return emails. I return text messages. There are agents out there that don't do any of that. You are chasing them, and it shouldn't be that.
It should not be that way.
You should have somebody that's listening to you, understands you, and somebody that you're going to enjoy this process with. If you can't enjoy this process, this is one of the most expensive purchases you're going to make in your life. This experience should be enjoyable. You should enjoy the person you're working with. And also, you need to be working with somebody that's going to educate you on the process. You should not be going into this blindly. I am an educator off the strength of the fact that my mom is an educator, and that's how I communicate. So my agents know my clients know everything that's going on. I tell them to ask me any and all questions. There's not a dumb question. You can ask me the same question 5 different times, and I'm going to answer it 5 different times.
Right.
So, it's all about making sure you and that agent have a good rapport, and making sure that they're advocating for you and they're going to work hard for you, and they're going to be very transparent and upfront with you. And that's really what it boils down to, and making sure they know what they're doing.
And here's the reason why you want to make sure that you have an agent that doesn't mind you asking questions, because you're the novice here, okay? The agent is supposed to be the expert, okay? So if the agent is getting upset with you because you keep asking the same question, that is not the agent for you.
Right.
Okay? When someone continues to ask me the same question, I don't think that they have a problem. I think I'm not answering it correctly. Let me figure out what's not clicking, what's not getting it. Now, it's different if you ask the question in the beginning on day one during the presentation stage before we signed an agreement. Now we're 3 months in and we're about to write our first offer, and you can't remember the difference between due diligence and earnest money. I'm not talking about those type of questions. I'm talking about in a matter of an hour, you've asked me the same question. I'm going to try to figure out, what am I doing? How am I not getting it across? Let me see if I can figure out a different way to explain it to you. because
Right.
we want to make sure that you understand.
Yeah, you have to find an agent that's gonna meet you where you are. That's one thing I
Mhm.
always do. I always meet my clients where they are, because not all clients that I deal with are first-time home buyers. If you're a first-time home buyer, I'm gonna explain everything to you from the nitty to the gritty, because this is your first time going through this process. Now, I do have some clients that flip houses, they're investors, they know this, so I'm not talking to them, and in layman's terms, we're talking because they know exactly what's going on. I'm just here to help facilitate the deal. And then I have some buyers, this is their second or third home. So they know exactly what needs to happen. So I'm not going to talk to them, at that level. But a first-time home buyer, we're going through everything, answering all questions, making sure you understand the contracts that you're signing, what you're getting yourself into. You do not want to sign your name on a dotted line and you have no idea what the implications, consequences that come along with that. Because
And here's the
if the consequences arise, I don't want you looking at me sideways. Well, Shantí, you didn't tell me that.
right,
That's my fault.
right, right. Okay, yes. Good, yes. So, ladies and gentlemen, we are approaching our 1 hour mark, and we always want to be conscious of everyone's time that's on the live. We do thank you for joining us. I just wanted to do one last look. I don't see any more additional last-minute questions in our thread here, but you can always inbox us directly. Hang on, I guess we do see one. So what if you find the relationship is not working well? Does a contract bind you to the agent? There is a contract called, a document called a termination agreement, and you can terminate any contract. Now, here's the hard part. If you're selling your house and you're already under contract and you don't like your agent, you are kind of stuck at that point. You got to kind of finish it out because you're under contract. But if you're not under contract and it's not working out, absolutely ask them to terminate. Just say, hey, listen, I thought this was going to be a good fit. It's not working well for me. Do you mind sending me a termination agreement? And actually specifically ask for a termination agreement, because a lot of people are just saying, oh, all you got to do is send me an email. But real estate commission rules say that you're supposed to have a termination agreement. Okay, so ask for one. If you ask for one and they won't send it to you, that's the only way around the real estate commission not saying that you need one. You have to prove that you tried to get it and they wouldn't give it to you.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, it's like any other relationship. You have the right to terminate that relationship with that agent. And just make sure you communicate clearly why you're terminating the relationship, and it can just be easily saying, it's not working for me. But don't leave that agent and go to another agent without making sure that you have ended that relationship. Because if not,
Exactly.
then that new agent is going to have issues. So, just make sure that you're doing your part to make sure you sever that relationship.
Yes. And so next week, everyone, I'm going to be having next week, I believe, another agent who specializes in land. Girl, I'm booked halfway through March. I can't remember everybody.
Look, get it together, girl. What you got going on next week?
So it's a young lady who specializes in land deals. So it's a lot of people out there that can't find houses. And now they're coming to me, Shantí, saying, I want land. So I said, let me get my dirt dog on the line who helps me. And let's get some questions answered about land. And then on Thursday, I'm actually bringing in an underwriter to speak on the live on Thursday. So that's next week, Tuesday and Thursday. You'll see those flyers come out. I don't try to post them out too early because you'll just forget. So,
yeah.
And we want you here. So
exactly. Nicole, thank you so much.
You're welcome. Thank you so much
fun.
for being alive. I really, really appreciated having you. We'll have to do this again, okay? Because I think this is going to be, because we're in such a transitional space, we're going to be doing this for a while because the market is going to be kind of crazy for a while. So yeah,
it is. So those of you guys in Charlotte, you guys are in good hands with Nicole. She is amazing. Thank you for including me on your live. This is amazing. I'm so glad you're out here educating the people. That speaks volumes about who you are as an agent. And again, I'm here in the Raleigh-Durham area, Raleigh-Durham and surrounding areas. So if you're looking for an agent in this area, please feel free to give me a call, 919-824-4494. Real Estate the Holloway. Thank you, Nicole.
Yes, this video will get posted on YouTube tomorrow. So if you missed part of the video, you will be able to go back and watch it again on YouTube. Thank you, everybody. Have a good night. We'll see you next time. Bye.
Bye.